Fast Market, everyone. Kevin Hinks and Nathan Peterson back for our cash tag segment. Now I'd like to bring in Mr. Landon Swan, co-founder of LikeFolio.com. Landon, thanks for coming on as always. The consumer staple giant PepsiCo earnings out before the open tomorrow and just ahead of the Super Bowl. Let's talk all things Eatos because though the name is PepsiCo, they're almost more known for Frito-Lay than they are for sodas. Landon, your data on PepsiCo.
Yeah, this is the Super Bowl of snacks, right?
Yes.
Of the snack season. I mean, this is extremely important. This is when a lot of consumers kind of declare which snacks are important to them this entire week. In fact, last year, Americans ate 118 million pounds of snack food this week. So Super Bowl is it for Pepsi. They really need to make sure they do a great job, and they're going to be watching those sales. I'll tell you, this stock has been wild. I mean, it was on a multi-year uptrend, very steady. It kind of accelerated and then snapped back in May. I think it almost got to 200, then had some lows in October, and it's been drifting up ever since. So it's kind of in recovery mode on that, trying to get back on that nice uptrend. But I tell you what, the mentions on this company are somewhat flat, a little, down, I think 2% on a year-over-year basis. So just kind of steady. I mean, we don't see a significant shift in a company this size with this many brands. On the individual brand level, you'll see some movement, but when they've got so many different brands that they all add up to about the same, and you can kind of see here a lot of their brands, and this is actually happiness. Side note, I will agree those Miss Vickie's chips are fantastic, so I would put them at the top of the group. But you can kind of see where where all these different brands fit in. Lay's and Cheetos are kind of at the bottom. Cheetos kind of surprised me, but Lay's, I can see that's been kind of losing popularity. But all the other ones are, there's just a huge spread between which ones consumers love and which ones they just kind of like right now. I will say that on the beverage side, they've got Tropicana, Muscle Milk, Aquafina, and of course Gatorade. Those are all positive on a year-over-year basis. So those are kind of leading the charge on the drink side. And when you think about how big Pepsi is compared to some of its competitors, we've got a pie chart that shows that PepsiCo is basically half of consumer mind share when it comes to the snacking world, right? If you compare them to these four competitors, you can see that it's pretty much Pepsi when you're thinking about snacks. They've also got a lot of drinks that we talked about. That side of things is mostly competing with Coke, but on the snack side, they're very, very dominant. So doing really well. And I think that last quarter, they posted almost a 9% increase in revenue, and I think they kind of quieted the critics on the Ozempic scare, right? So many people are taking Ozempic that they're not going to want to eat our snacks. That was, we kind of, naysayed that from the beginning, and I think that their earnings kind of proved that point. I don't think it's a huge concern for this company just yet. They have responded to the, to inflation by higher prices and smaller portions. So, they're doing what any good American corporation would do. They got to make their money, so they're, shrinkflation plus real inflation. But I think this is a strong company. They're showing good signs of happiness. It's up 6 points to 67% overall, and you saw the spread there among all the companies. But just overall, I think this is, it's just one of those real steady, solid companies. And if anything, I'm trading this more on the stock than anything else, buying low and selling high, because there's not a ton of deviation as seen by our mentions chart. It's just, when you add them all together, it's pretty flat. If you were investing in one or two of these brands, then we'd be talking a different story. But, the law of averages, when you have this many brands, it's going to be pretty steady over time. And there's nothing industry-wide that's shaking them up to the positive or negative. I think we've kind of seen that with the Ozempic being, just not really a thing. So overall, pretty steady company, and just watching the price.
Hey Landon, I think they've beat and raised guidance like the last 3 quarters. So certainly it doesn't seem to be, any kind of wavering in terms of demand showing up in terms of, the product offering. But perhaps they're, maybe sacrificing some volume by increasing those prices. And I think I saw news that there was a European supermarket chain that said basically they're taking all of the Pepsi products off their shelves because they were too expensive. Are you seeing any kind of price sensitivity within the data that you're looking at?
Not really. I mean, generally that's not something that people get online and complain about. Now, if it gets too extreme, they will. But I think that they're by reducing the portion sizes, you're not, and still increasing prices, you're not hitting the radar of too many consumers, right? Like if they're getting 14.5 ounces instead of 16 ounces on a bag, most people don't really notice. If you go, obviously if you go up significantly in price, then they start to notice. But as long as it's small and steady in price increases, I don't think the people are going to go crazy. And we just haven't seen a significant move when it comes to happiness, when it comes to prices on these products, no.
Yeah, I remember that early October sell-off in the stock, Landon, where we had you guys on right afterward, basically saying that it wasn't showing up in the data. The rumors, the fears about Ozempic and weight loss, cutting people's desire to eat salty snacks or soda, it wasn't showing up in the data. And it turns out it mostly didn't, other than rumors and whispers. It's not really showing up in any earnings. Now, it may be that PepsiCo had 14% sales increase a year ago. They guided to 10% for 2024, but the stock's had a nice run since those Ozempic rumors, even though Coke seems to be growing in terms of soda when Pepsi was actually flat in terms of soda.
Right, yeah, that's a great point. I think that a lot of the times when it comes to the market crowd, I mean, we always talk, or we're taught at least, that the market is perfect, right? Because all the information's out there. Well, you can just look at the swings and know that it's not perfect. A lot of it is speculation. And when it came to Ozempic, everyone was scared if this drug, is so successful and a lot of people are going to start using it, then of course they're going to eat less. They're definitely going to eat junk food or Pepsi products less, and that's going to impact things. But the play there was to kind of fade that absent any real evidence, and there was no evidence. I mean, we looked high and low for evidence of people talking about eating less, especially as it related to the drugs, and we just didn't see it. And so with mentions down 2% year over year, that's not a significant move. That's within the error rate of sample size. So not concerned at all there. And I will say this, since this is my last time on this week, Megan's got tomorrow. Fading the crowd, everybody that I talk to is going Chiefs. So I'm fading it down. You got to go 49ers.
There it is. I mean, when I used to know a guy, Landon, that used to, for his football bets on the floor of the CBOE, walked around and took a poll for people. And whatever the majority was, he'd go the other way. Every single time he would fade the crowd. So there it is. If everyone likes the Chiefs, beware. Landon, we're going to let you go. Thanks for coming on, as always, spending some time with us, and bringing the LikeFolio data, rich as it is, to Fast Market. In this case, fits right in with not only earnings, but the Super Bowl on Sunday. Thanks for coming on, Landon.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. Take care.
All right. Now, Nate, let's get to a trade, because